one of the first things I'm going to do, I believe it's the first thing they asked for in the manual, is to attach the control horns to the surfaces. So I'm going to start probably with the horizontal. Now look at this thing's sticky tape on there. You can do the horizontal, and of course the horizontal stabilizer, the way it goes on, you're going to put the horns on the bottom because that's where the control rods go. And on the vertical and on the rudder, you're going to put the control horn out to the left because that's where the control rod is for it. I'm not going to film by putting these on. It's kind of mundane. I will tell you what I'm going to try to do. I'm going to not just screw them on like I say. I'm going to put some epoxy down and epoxy and screw them at the same time so they have a secondary adhesion. Make it a little bit stronger. Screw them as well. The other reason I wanted to start the video again was I forgot to mention this version 8. They make 2 version 8s. Well, they made 2 version 8s. And the manual with the inventory and the parts doesn't cover the later version 8. What they ended up doing, and Motion RC did a video of the mod they did. What they put in here now was a one-piece circuit board and a phenolic block. So all the connections go onto one circuit board now. In the original version 8, that wasn't the case. You had the wing connectors, and they did connect to a single block, and you had your small circuit board, and you had your sequencer, and they all plugged in. This one has a phenolic block with a circuit board, and everything plugs into that circuit board. The sequencer, I'm told, I haven't seen it, I'm told by people who have this version, is actually underneath the circuit board, and it comes with the airplane underneath. So in order to see it, I'd have to take the screws out of the circuit board, pull the circuit board out, and see if the sequencer is there. I don't want to take it apart to see if it's there. But I do know that in the instructions, when it tells you to check for all your parts, it has the old setup. So it has a package with the sequencer and the wires for the sequencer as part of your inventory. But when you take apart the open the box and look at your airplane now, when you get a version 8, it will not have that because it's a whole new circuit board setup. If you're not aware of that, you're going to get confused. I got confused. I had called Horizon Hobby to have them send me the stuff I didn't have. They were about ready to send it to me when people on the forums told me I didn't need it. I had the improved version. So be aware of that if you get this airplane. The other reason I'm in a kind of a hurry to start building this thing now is not only to see if there's any problems, but I really want to check the wheels, the retracts, because I've been told, as a word of caution, that there is a possibility the housing for the retracts, where it mounts, where the screws in, it apparently cracks because it's plastic, and it cracks at times, and sometimes you can get the airplane with cracks already existing where the screw holes go. But I'm kind of anxious to get those things open and see what they look like, and in order to do that I have to have it assembled enough to where I can power up the servos and open the gear. So that's another reason why I'm kicking in the gear on this thing right now. All my control horns screwed on and glued on. My elevator, got it screwed on to the bottom. I also used some foam tack glue to glue the pads on as well as screw them. Did the same thing with the rudder. Got the horn on the right side. I also pre-moved these surfaces so they will move easily when you do have the control rods on them. You are supposed to do that when you get a new plane because you got to break in the control surface a little bit. There's a horn on the bottom. I did the same with each wing. I have the pad and the screw for the aileron and the flap. The horns on the bottom. Did the same over there. Next thing I got to do is to install the spar, aluminum spar for the front of the main wing, and the carbon fiber spar for the aft part of the main wing. I did have to do something that I didn't really want to do. I noticed that they bent, well, the bend here is supposed to be there, it's for your dihedral, but the bend was not in the center of the two rods. And measuring it out, I had to take a ½ inch off, not a ½ inch, about a third of an inch off one end to make the two lengths equal to the center. I don't know if I was supposed to do that, but I wanted them centered. I wanted it to be equal lengths on the spar. So I did that anyway. So the next thing to do is to mark the center point of this for the aft spar in the wing. I already have a mark for the center on the front spar. And the next thing to do is to slide them together. Oh, one thing I forgot to show you. I did put the two fairings in. These are the two fairings. They're blocks, and it's just a fairing to fill in the space between the wing and flap inboard edge and the fuselage. It's just a block, as you can see here, and it glues in place. So I glued both sides in place. It's still kind of curing, setting up. And next will be assembling the wing, and hopefully that goes without any hitches. You do have to glue on the braces or the brackets that combine the wings together, as well as they screw on, but you got to put the plates in with glue. Well,